Australia is a country as well as a continent. In the southeast corner of the Indian Ocean, it is situated south of Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. Most of the Indian Ocean is to its west and New Zealand is to its east. South of Australia is where Antarctica is located. Australia's landmass is made up of the mainland and Tasmania, an island that is separated from the mainland to the south by Bass Strait. The Cocos, Keeling Islands, Kangaroo Island, Christmas Island, and other minor islands are also included. Despite being the sixth largest nation in the world, Australia is the world's smallest continent. Australia's entire land area is 7,682,300 square kilometers. Why is Australia considered a continent? A region can be difficult to define. In reality, there is even debate over the number of continents in the world. For instance, a large portion of the populace in Russia, the remainder of Eastern Europe, and Japan sees Eurasia, also known as Europe and Asia, as a single continent. While Europe and Asia are divided, North and South America are sometimes regarded as one landmass. Some people even contend that since Asia, Africa, and Europe are all connected by territory, they should all be regarded as one continent. However, the most widely held belief is that there are 7 continents, and Australia is located on one of them. A common understanding of what a region is also exists. According to this definition, a continent is a sizable, continuous, and distinct territory, ideally divided by a sizable body of water. This definition presents a challenge because many of the continents that exist today are not divided by large bodies of ocean. In actuality, with the exception of Australia, every hemisphere is joined by land to at least one other continent. Australia is completely encircled by large bodies of ocean. Therefore, it might be argued that it more closely adheres to the accepted meaning of a continent than most other continents. Australia is not only a continent but also a nation, formerly known as the Commonwealth of Australia. When the British Parliament permitted the 6 distinct British territories on the continent to merge into one dominion, the nation was formally established in 1901. Australia became a dominion of the British Empire after that and began to manage its own internal affairs, though the British government continued to set its international policy. Although Australia did not officially ratify the Statute of Westminster until 1942, it was approved by the British government in 1931 and gave Australia and the other dominions of the British Empire control over foreign policy. Australia attained complete independence as a result. The executive branch of Australia's federal government is headed by a Prime Minister, who also serves as the leader of a cabinet. Parliament is the name of Australia's Parliament, which is the country's governing body. It has 2 houses or legislative bodies because it is a bicameral government. The Chamber of Representatives is the name of the lower chamber. The Senate is the name of the upper chamber. The Australian House of Representatives is organized similarly to the U.S. House of Representatives, on the basis of a representation by population plan, which means that the country's more populous regions have more representatives than its less populous ones. The Australian Senate is similar to the U.S. Senate in many ways. While the Northern Territory and the Australian Capital Region each pick 2 senators, each Australian state elects 12. Furthermore, the Australian judicial system functions very similarly to the U.S. federal justice. The Australian High Court is comparable to the Supreme Court of the United States. The structure of Australia's state governments mainly mirrors that of the federal government. Their own executive, legislative, and judicial bodies are as a result. The Commonwealth of Australia of today is a constitutional monarchy, meaning the British monarch is the head of state but only has ceremonial authority. The Australian people and their elected representatives hold the actual power. Australia is structured as a federation comparable to how the United States is structured. 6 groups are known as states in the Australian Federation, and another 10 are known as territories. The provinces are Western Australia, New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, and New South Wales. According to the Australian Constitution, these states are granted some powers, but others are solely the purview of the federal government, which is headquartered in Canberra, the nation's capital. In contrast, the territories are either directly governed by the federal government or have various degrees of autonomy. The federal government has granted the 2 mainland territories the Australian Capital Territory Act, where Canberra is situated, and the Northern Territory limited autonomy. Due to their sizable populations, the Australian federal government's website notes that these 2 territories are handled very much like states. Norfolk Island, a different territory, once had autonomy, but in 2015, the federal government mainly revoked those rights. 8 additional Australian territories are directly governed by the central government. Australia is a sovereign state with a separate administration and a separate economy. This includes the Australian dollar, the nation's own money. The economy of Australia, valued at about $1.323 trillion, is the 13th biggest in the world, and one of the richest in the Asia-Pacific region. The 2021 Index of Economic Freedom ranked Australia's economy as the 3rd freest economy in the globe. In Australia, there are more than 25 million individuals living. Australia, which is known as the Land Down Under due to its position in the southern hemisphere of the planet, has a distinct sense of who it is as a country. There is much more to this character than what is shown on the big or small screen, despite the fact that it is frequently popularized in films and television. Australians are well known for holding equal beliefs, which means they are strong proponents of ideas like free public healthcare and public education. The population of Australia is also very diverse, spanning from the native Aborigine groups who inhabited the nation for thousands of years, before any Europeans arrived, to an increasing number of Asians and Africans. Australia therefore encompasses much more than just animals, boomerangs, and Foster's beer. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos.